Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, and this time we are moving away from the Kindred / Tribal decks in the new Foundation Standard, and we're moving to back to counters. Played counters a few times on this channel and it's something I always enjoy, but this is a bit of a throwback to an old deck from about a year or two ago. So a couple of years ago there was a deck in Standard focused around two cards. One was Luminarch Aspirant, a 2-mana 2/2 that had a beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. We see that effect quite a few times. In fact, we've got a few cards in Standard with it. I don't know if that was the first one, but it was pretty powerful, and it was powerful enough that it got nerfed in Alchemy, which shows how powerful it was. But the other card that we have back in Standard now due to Foundations was Halana and Alena Partners. So this is a 4-mana 2/3 first strike and reach, which are okay stats. The keywords aren't. The keywords are good, but the stats itself aren't great. It does die to cut down, which is very, very annoying. But it has, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Halana Alena's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. So the synergy was, if you had the Luminarch Aspirant and Halana Alena on the battlefield at the same time, is you put you targeted a creature with Halana or Alena, and then you targeted Halana and Alena with the Luminarch Aspirant's ability. The counter would go on Halana and Alena first, increasing its power and toughness. So you then put more counters on the other creature with Halana or Alena, whether that's the Luminarch Aspirant or another creature you have. And obviously, if you get a creature down after Halana and Alena, you can give it haste. So we don't have a Luminarch Aspirant in Standard, but we do have Innkeeper's Talent. We've seen this on my channel before. It's a class that the basic level puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature we control at the beginning of each combat. So very similar to Luminarch Aspirant. It's just 1 on a green instead of 1 on a white. And obviously we can level it up for a green to give permanents we control counters on them, ward 1. And then we can level it up to the top level for 4 to double the amount of counters we put on those permanents. We also have 4 copies of Ornery Tumblewag, which is 3-mana 2/2. Does exactly the same thing, puts a counter on something to begin combat on our turn, but we can saddle it by tapping a creature with 2 power, or creatures with 2 power in total. And when it attacks our saddle, we double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. And then we do have 4 copies of Llanowar Elves. I think pretty much any green deck we're going to be playing in Standard now has Llanowar Elves. It is so... The card itself is not powerful, but being able to play a 3-drop on turn 2 is very powerful. And the only 3-drop we do have is Tumblewag. Getting that Tumblewag, putting a counter on itself, making it a 3/3 turn 2 is pretty good. And on turn 3, being able to get out Halana or Alena or double spell, we've got a lot of 2-drops, is very, very powerful. Speaking of all our 2-drops, we have Coppercoat Vanguard. This is the card I'm not sure about. I did have 4, went down to 2, split it with Dust Legion Duelist, which we'll get to in a second. It's a 2-mana 2/2, and it gives each other human we control +1/+0 and ward 1. Halana and Alena is a human, so it buffs Halana and Alena's power, which is obviously what I care about, and gives it ward. In the deck I spoke about a few years ago, the Aspirant's also human, so it was basically a Naya humans deck, and it had cards like Thalia, Guardian of Raven, and Alaline, Resplendent Cathar. Obviously, they rotated out with Standard last year, so which is why we don't have them anymore. But you could probably take out the Vanguard and go up 2 more Dust Legion Duelists. A 2-mana 2/2 with Vigilance. It says whenever 1 more +1/+1 counters are put on it, for the first time each turn you draw a card. 4 copies of Get Lost, 4 copies of Sheltered by Ghosts. This is just an absolute bonkers removal spell. Yeah, your opponent can get stuff back, but 2 mana, remove any non-land permanent, and it gives the equipped creature +1/+0 lifelink and ward 2 is just insane. With the ward from Innkeeper's Talent, it's not we can give a creature ward 3 basically. If it's a human, ward 4 with Coppercoat Vanguard, that's very hard to deal with. Yeah, if they do remove it through an Edict Effect or a Sweeper, they get it back, but we've seen cards like Brutal Cathar in previous Standards be just really amazing. Creature-based removal, and this kind of is creature-based removal. Then we have 4 copies of Ozolith Shattered Spire. It basically increases the number of +1/+1 counters that we put on artifact creature we control. It has that many +1. And then we can pay 1 and a green to tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Obviously, that will get a +1, an extra counter because of Ozlif's ability. We can only do it as a sorcery, which is annoying. And it is legendary, but it does have cycling too, so we can cycle it away. And then 4 copies of Botanical Brawler. A 0/0 trample, but it enters with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Obviously, that would be 3 if we have an Ozlif. And then it says, whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on another permanent we control, it was the first time +1/+1 counters have been put on that permanent this turn, we put a +1/+1 counter on Botanical Brawler. So if we play the Brawler, have a Tumblewag in play, put the counter on the Tumblewag, the Brawler will see that and put a counter on itself. What's really powerful is these are really powerful in multiples. If we play 2 Brawlers each turn, or 2 Brawlers on a turn, the first Brawler will see the second Brawler enter. Because the second Brawler enters with counters on it, it will go, oh, that permanent's got a counter put on it, and then it would increase, it'll put a counter on the first Brawler. And if we have an Ozlif out, we can basically double Botanical Brawler. One will be a 5/5, one will be a 3/3, which is pretty good for what could be done on turn 3. And then if we have 2 out and we, Tumblewag or Innkeeper Talent put a counter somewhere else, they just grow massively. And obviously, because all their power toughness is counters, it's a great one to double with the Tumblewag. Mana base, obviously 3 colours, and 3 colours aren't massively well supported in this standard at the moment. There's no tri-lands or anything like that, but we do have the full playlet of the Thornspire Verge and Hushwood Verge, which are dual lands, and then we do have some of the Savannah lands to help turn on those dual lands. Halana and Alena is the only red mana we need, but it is basically our main card, so we do need that red mana. So we do have 2 mountains, 1 commercial district, 4 Thornspire Verges, 1 elegant pilot, and 1 inspiring vantage, whereas the rest of it is obviously all green and white. So how powerful is it? It is actually very powerful. This is the 3rd deck I've played in Foundations. It's actually got the best win rate out of all of them. It's up around 70%. I think I've played like 15 games. So it is pretty powerful. As I say in a lot of these decks, it's a creature-based deck, and that is, that is susceptible to removal. Halana and Alena having being a 2/3 is rough with cut down. I honestly don't know if cut down was in standard when this kind of deck was in standard before, because cut down just destroys Halana and Alena. In fact, all of our creatures apart from Botanical Brawler, if it can come down with Ozlif, it does get out of the range of cut down, but obviously not at the range of Virtual Persistence or Go for the Throat or anything like that. So also, this is not a massive go wide deck, it's more of a go high deck, so it does suffer against removal like Shoulders Egypt, Liliana the Veil, and things like that. But it is really powerful. We said it was the best win rate of any of the decks I've played so far. So I had a great time playing it. I do like playing counters. I think this is maybe the 3rd or 4th time I played counters on this channel. And when Halana and Alena was in standard last time, it was one of my favourite cards. It is an absolute powerhouse. And I love the synergy of putting counters on Halana and Alena to increase the amount of counters it puts on something else. It is really fun and really powerful. So I had a great time playing it. I'm having a great time playing Foundations. I hope you are all enjoying it. Putting out some extra videos as well because I've got so many ideas for decks. I think next, apart from the Brawl deck I'm doing at the weekend, I think we can look at Goblins. Maybe we're using the new reprinted Krenko. So I hope you all tune in for that. I hope you all enjoy this one. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Our opponent goes first. We've got an alright... Well, I say alright, we don't have any white mana, but hopefully we can draw into it. Did I just bounce our Alena White Elves? Oh, we can't get lost it anyway. Next turn we can Halana and Alena. White mana would be really good. Well, there is white mana. Let's play out Llanowar Elves. And let's get lost. They're sheltered by ghosts. We will get down the Duelist and the Talent so we can start, and let's level up for some protection. They go digging again. We're down to 5, which is not where we want to be, but Sheltered by Ghosts is a very good draw. We will take their Gremlin Tamer. So we see the little interaction there by putting the counter on Halana and Alena. That then obviously increases its power to the Duelist. They can bounce something. Problem is, they can't pay the ward. You do get, I'm pretty sure you get a warning comes up. Yeah, so there's Ward 1 from Innkeeper's Talent and Ward 2 from Sheltered by Ghosts. And yeah, a bit of a whiff from our opponent there. You know, they had troubles with land, but us having a 7-6 next turn, it would have gone up to an 11-10. At least we would have played Tumblewag. Put more counters on Halana and Alena, and might be able to crack in with that with First Strike as well. Opponent goes first. We have no white mana, but if we draw a forest, we can get there. You're not meant to flash things like that in. Or you meant to flash them in later on. Well, we can Tumblewag. Start growing the Tumblewag. And next turn, Ozolith. Obviously looking for lands. They can... No, he could have paid the X with Llanowar Elves. Well, let's just play out Ozolith then. Or do we cycle it and try and find a land? Maybe play it out. We can just grow our Tumblewag. But I do have to hold back. If we find a white source or Brawler, or even a red source for Halana and Alena, but we are taking a beating from that Preserver. Well, this turns on the Verges, which is really good. And we need that. I do wonder if we chump with the Llanowar Elves. Have they forgotten about their other Llanowar Elves? I think that... I think them not attacking was an error. Then we get down Halana and Alena. We put counters on... Let's put it on the Tumblewag. We put this on Halana and Alena. And I'm going to hold back for now. Well, at least that's not a creature. That is a creature. Well, that is a pretty good draw. Let's put it on our partners. They could have a Snakeskin Veil, but they don't. And then I think we play out the Vanguard just to increase the ward on Halana and Alena. And I'm going to saddle... Oh, don't need to do that. Elves. And let's swing in. Obviously they just chump, but we are gaining 13. We might have to chump with Alena White Elves. $12, $15. Yeah, we do. We're down to 3. But yeah, having a... Well, what is about to be a 22, I think. 21 Halana and Alena life linker cracking in. Obviously they're going to have to chump. Actually they've only got one blocker left, so they're dead anyway. Meh. Opponent goes first. Only 2 lands, but we can surveil with 1. We do have a turn 2 play, so I think we can keep this. And we do have all our colours. Yeah, I'll keep that. I think we just take out the immolator before they can potentially buff it. They found their 3rd land. Next time we can play with Tumblewag. Get it up to 3 power and toughness, hopefully. And next turn we can get down Halana and Alena. They would probably need 2 burn spells. Or 2 burst lightnings. Goblin's going to be kind of annoying, I think. I imagine they're playing Krenko as well. Which has got a reprint. I don't want to block with a Tumblewag because I imagine they would have removal. Once we've got Halana and Alena down, can start buffing things. Yeah, there's Burst Lightning, which they put into the bin. Well, I don't think we attack. And next turn we can Ozolith and get down the Vanguard. They did make the Tumblewag unable to block. I will block with Halana Landers because we have another one. And it's got First Strike, so... That's awful, but... So we do have another one. The Lack is having First Strike. Do they have another Dreadmord's Ire? If they do, doing it on the Firebrand, we can still kill it with First Strike. And then let's put we saddle the Vanguard. We hit him for 43. There we go. We go first with an okay hand. So you would like a Duelist to survive, and hopefully you can draw into green mana. I don't think it will survive. Discarding land probably wasn't the best idea. Hopefully we can draw a land. We cannot. Well, we have another chance to draw with our other Dust Legion duelist. Well, there is mana. And next turn we can play out Halana and Alena. If we draw a land, we can play it. Well, if we draw an untapped land, we could have played it and leveled up the Innkeeper's talent. Let's hold back for now. Obviously we do have another one. Oh, all the tap lands. And we will level up. Well, Sheltered by Ghosts can help get us back into it. Let's pitch Tumblewag. I suppose the question is, do they have the card that gives us the pact, or are they just planning on sacrificing it to Braids? We are going to draw it. I think I do take out the pact. If they have removal, they have to use it now. Then obviously it only has ward 1, so they could have a go for the throat. Or have they just decided to give it in? Looks like what they are doing. Very odd. Well, let's gain 11. Okay, we don't gain 11 then. We would obviously decline that. Don't need another land. Well, we're definitely playing out the talent. And definitely leveling it up. Do we have another thing that they can sacrifice? No. Buff at Duelist quite high. And yeah, opponent scoots it up. Obviously, don't know what's in their deck, but if they had go for the throat, even though it had walled 3, no, walled 4, they could have actually no, they couldn't have taken it out. Well, they could have with the treasure. So, you know, but they may not have had that. They did seem to have red removal spells like Betrayer's Bargain. So maybe they were just delaying the inevitable. We go first. Shell by Ghost is obviously very powerful. I think I play out Ozolith. Because then when the Brawler comes down, it'll put it out of reach of an unbargained Torture Tower. So they're on some kind of Delirium based deck. Well, that's just heading for 6 lifelink. Baller now has War 2, which is going to be hard for them to deal with, since they only seem to have 2 lands. Obviously, if they play a land and have something like Into the Floodmoor, but no, it's just another fear of missing out. They do have Delirium, But a second Sheltered by Ghosts puts it up to walled 4. And yeah, we clear away. Activate Ozolith again. Put it up to 9/7. And just, yeah, absolutely decimate them. Opponent goes first. But I do like our hand. We can turn 2 Tumblewag, turn 3 Halana and Alena. Okay. We can't do that. Well, I think I'm just going to play out Ozolith and then the Brawler. And hope it doesn't get countered. It does not get countered, but it might get bounced. It's a bit annoying, but not the end of the world. We'll play out the Thicket, so we're just going to play out the Tumblewag. Oh, come on. Can I activate Ozolith as a sorcery? They're full on room control. Well, I'm going to swing in. Then I will grow the Brawler. Should have done it before combat. But then I'm going to take out their warped space. See, rooms do have a chunk of mana, high mana value. Well, let's see if this resolves. Yeah, what we could have done, even if they taken out our Brawler, we could have used Ozolith to put counters on Halana and Alena, played the another Ozolith, and then done the same. We did have enough mana for everything. So, assuming they didn't have any way to block, we could have got Halana and Alena up to 6, I think. Which would have done it. Obviously, if we drew another creature, we could have given that one haste as well with Halana and Alena's ability. Opponent goes first. 2 Ozilifts is not great, but we can cycle one. Life gain. Let's play out an Ozilif. And next turn we can double spell Brawlers. Assuming our elves survive. The second brawler, well, the first brawler sees a counters put on the second brawler, and obviously puts the counters on itself as well. And next turn we can Tumblewag. Death touching isn't fun. Well, let's just yeah, let's just Tumblewag for now. So draw another Get Lost or Sheltered by Ghost. We can remove both their Death Touchers. Well, that is what we wanted to see, actually. Now, we do know they've drawn a go for the throat. But yeah, they just give up basically. What could they have done? So they were, hang on, so I hit him for what? 25, 31. Yeah, so that 23? Yeah, that makes sense. They could have blocked 4. So we've done 10, blocked 2, done 9, 19. Okay, we had lethal anyway. There wasn't anything they could do about it.